Recording in progress. Yep. Good evening. Last session, we learned about how we can deal with array manipulations. So we learned about array manipulations. Nothing but we are using some array methods. So array manipulations, array methods. We learned reading elements from array. So adding elements into array and removing elements from array. These are options we learned. Reading and adding elements into array, removing elements from array. So dynamically, how do we control also? One example I showed you here. So this is one example we learned. In that we learned how to add, how to remove elements from array. Here some points I already told you. Suppose in this, suppose I am adding an element, footwear. If it is already there, then it should show the message that element exists. If it is not there, then only it should add. How to verify whether this item that you are adding is already there in that list or not? How to search for any item in array? We learned array methods. How to search for any item in array? How do we search? Searching elements in array, searching for element in array. Element in array. You remembered we learned about find. We learned about filter. We can also use index of. Index of is also used to find. We can use last index of. We can find and we can return. Actually, these are the options for finding. So what we have to do is here we can go to add button, click. Here before adding, this push is going to add. Before adding, we have to verify whether the categories contains this category name or not. Then we will write a simple logic here. If what is it? Categories dot index of what is the element? Category name. Index of category name is equal to category name is equal to -1. Remember in string also I told you. In string, how do we search whether that character is there or not? For that we have to use index of. In email I told you how to verify @ there or not. If @ is there, it will return its index number. If anything not there, it will return -1. If it is not there, that means -1, then this all should happen. Okay, that means adding item into array should happen. Adding item into array should happen. If it is not there, if it is already there, then else we will put an alert saying that so exists. Here we will put category name. Category name exists. This message we want to display. Now you see the logic here is I am adding some category fashion. Okay, add. So fashion added to list. Okay, that is successfully added. I am trying to add fashion again and click on add. It says item exists. That means fashion exists. It is not going to add. I am trying to add some another like some electronics and click on add. It says electronics exists. It will not add. So it is not added into the list. If anything, we added men's clothing something and add, then it is going to display added to list and it is added into the list. That is how it is going to manage. This is a simple concept of verifying. But here one more issue is there. Suppose I am adding fashion in lowercase. Fashion in lowercase. Then what? I click on add. Then it is added. You can see it is added here. So, but I have to verify with the spelling, not with the capitalization. So whenever they try to add, what you can do, convert that into lowercase and verify in lowercase. This logic you try. That means convert that string into lowercase and verify whether it is matching or not. Don't directly add whatever they type here. What you do, maintain all categories in lowercase only. But while displaying, you can display in uppercase. And while adding also, take in lowercase only. Even they enter uppercase, you have to convert into lowercase. That means, understood? First design categories in all lowercase. While displaying inside the list box, use uppercase. While adding, verify whatever they typed, convert everything into lowercase and check. That will be the logic for this. That means even they entered in lowercase, it should not accept. So that you have to try, right? So you try that. Later in some occasions, we will see that practically how we handle, but you need to try that concept, right? And as I already told you, everything without writing any logic will not happen. For every requirement, you have to write the conditions, right? This is a simple example. Now here, one more important is how we can sort array elements. How we can sort array elements. That means we need to arrange the array elements in order. Sorting array elements very simple. We have a sort method and we have a reverse method. Reverse. Sort is for ascending order. Reverse is not descending order. Reverse is not descending order. Reverse is reverse order of how they arrange it. That means how they are stored, it will store in reverse order. That means, for example, see, I am defining here simple sorting related one sort HTML. First, I will just add some script and a var cities is equal to, suppose we have Delhi, so we have Bangalore, so we have like Chennai. So these are cities we are having and some cities, okay. And we want to display for var, so item of cities and document dot write, we have to print the item, okay. Now it is going to display all of this and show here. Now I want them in order, alphabetically arranged. Then simple, what we have to do is before printing, we have to just apply cities dot sort. Cities dot sort, it is going to arrange all of them in alphabetical order and display. That means B, C, D, G, M. Now reverse is not, actually if I put reverse is not descending order. Reverse is not descending order. Actually, you see, reverse is reverse order. That means Goa, Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore, Delhi, like that. That means you can see it is in reverse order. You can see it is in reverse order. not descending order. Then how to display descending order? To display descending order, first you have to sort. On that sort, apply reverse. That will be obviously descending order. That means you first sort will arrange ascending. After that, reverse. That means that ascending will be descending. And you can see now it is in descending order. M, G, D, C, B, like arranging information in order you can manage. For that, we have two options. One is sort, another one reverse. This is very simple. If you want to implement in our previous example also same. For example, if there are any categories here, I want to arrange them alphabetically, then you can apply sort. Only the point is before loading, sort and load. That means just what we have to do. In the previous program, we are loading categories, right? This is all loading categories. In load categories, before loading categories, just what you have to do, we have to use categories dot sort. First sort them and load. That means now you can see it is going to sort. Suppose I said, suppose some other options like some C, I am adding that C added to list, then you see it is in order. Even I use push will be adding every item as last item, but it is displaying in order. Suppose I am adding like B, then it will be in order. It will be in order. Why? Because we are sorting and displaying. We are sorting and loading. That means even you use push command. This is the push command for adding, right? For adding, we are using push. Push is used to add as a last item, but still it is able to display. So in the middle, like splice, that is because when we are displaying, what we are doing, we are sorting and displaying. You can put a button and you can on button click, you can say sort and display, arrange ascending, arrange descending, you can put that. But without the button, before loading, I am sorting and loading. That means whatever items are added, they will be displayed in alphabetical order. That is simple. For that, we have these options. One is sort, another one reverse. These are all important array manipulations. So many methods we learned for reading, for adding, for removing, for searching, and for sorting. But all the arrays that we learned, they are simple number type or a string type or a boolean type. That's it. But how to handle complex types, we will see now. So in the data types, this is all about array, basic array type. Next, very important in JavaScript non-primitive types, we have an object type. We have an object type. This is very important. Once you know object type, then you can know about array of objects, how to handle them. So we learned array and we have an object. What is object? It's simple actually. Suppose in this example, so we are defining, so some where TV is equal to Samsung TV, where mobile is equal to some LG mobile, something. And so where price is equal to some price. Now, is this price belonging to TV or mobile? There is no relation between these three. There is no relation between these three. All three are independent. This price doesn't belong to TV or mobile. All three are independent. So how you can tell that this belongs to TV or this belongs to mobile? So object is nothing but actually the concept means actually object. Object is used to keep all related data and the logic together. Object is used to keep all related data and logic together. Actually, the concept of object was introduced in early 1960s by Alan Kay. Alan Kay. He introduced the concept of object. He introduced the concept of object into computer programming. After he introduced object, Johann Ole and Christian Nygaard. These people introduced object-oriented programming. They introduced a concept called object-oriented programming by using objects, but they haven't invented object. Object was invented before OOP was there. Many people, they generally think that so object is from OOP language, but the concept of object was there before the OOP language. So it was in early 60s. These two people designed OOP language, but before that OOP language, object was there. Alan Kay introduced that concept of object. What is the concept? Very simple. The main concept is to keep all related data and logic together. That means, so now object is defined in a curly brace like this. Now this object contains so a key and a value. It contains a key and a value. And comma, it contains a key. It contains a key in that it can contain a function. That means these all functions and values are related to only one object. That means these two keys, which contains a value, which contains a functionality, it belongs to only one. That means encapsulation. We combine all together into one unit. That means now here, how we have to say that this price belongs to TV, not to mobile. Then what we have to do is we need to design like this, where TV is an object. Object is defined in curly brace. In this we have a key. Key is always string type. Key is always string type, and key is name. And the value can be any type. Any type means it can be a string or a number or a boolean or an array. Again, any object. That means here I am using name some TV and a comma, another property price, and the price is some price. Now this price belongs to this TV. The main intention is to keep all related data logic together. So similarly, suppose I am defining mobile and or say suppose I said shoe, and some here we have name. So this name is suppose Nike Casuals, and we have price, and this price is some price, like this we define. Now this belongs to shoe. This belongs to TV. The main intention is to keep all related data and logic together. Currently, we are using only data. We are currently using data. How to define logic, I will tell you. Actually, if JavaScript is having, so if JavaScript is defining an object, then every key must be string type, and the value can be any type. Value can be any type. It can be any type of value, but key must be string type. Always keys are only string type, and that is why string type means you don't need to mention as a string. Don't need to write as a string. You can just write like this, name Samsung TV, like this you can define, comma, we have price and what is the price we can define in this way. We can add data like this. And very important, if object contains only data, then it is referred as JSON. If object contains only data, then we refer as JSON. JSON is actually JavaScript object notation. JavaScript object notation. So actually JSON, you should know that JSON is a format for data. JSON is a format for data. That means data will be available in a format of JSON. Actually, popular data formats are, one we have XML, another one is JSON. We have like JSON-P, so many are there. We have so many formats are there. So XML, in XML itself, we have so many like XML atom. So many are there. These are all data formats. That means actually in computer technologies, when you are trying to use some data that comes to you on screen visually in a form or somewhere, but how actually data is transported from one location to another location, actually data will be in the form of JSON or XML. That means, for example, example is like, suppose we have like some database. Database like Oracle, MySQL, some database. In a database, actually data is stored in a tabular form. That means in a table, we store the data, rows and columns. Now this data we have to access and show to the user so that he can interact. Now it can come in two formats. One is XML or another one is JSON. These days we are not using XML also very much. We are using only JSON. Why? Why data should be in XML and JSON? Actually, when data is transferred, it will be in binary form. Data is transported in binary form. Why we have to convert this data into XML or JSON format? Because transporting of data across computers in a network happens in binary only. But this we don't prefer anymore, transporting data in a binary form. Why? Because when data is transported in a binary form, this computer will have firewalls. We call firewall. Computers usually have a firewall. They have a firewall. When you turn on the firewall, this binary type data will be blocked. Firewalls will block the data because binary type data can be infected with virus. So then firewalls will block. Then data transport will not happen. It will block the data. If you disable firewall, virus infection comes. Enable firewalls, translating into binary data is blocked. Then how to send data to client? Then we have to send data in a format which can flow through the firewalls without conversions. So, and for that we were using XML very much early days. Now we are using JSON. This you will learn later when you learn about API designing. So when you learn about API designing, you will learn. Initially, the point is data is in a format and the data format is called as XML or JSON. So if only data is present, then we call it as JSON. And JSON contains key and value collection. That means example will be like this. Actually, this is how data is there. Data is present. I'll just give only this one. So actually data will be in this format. It can have any type of data. As I already told you, we have some stock. and the stock can be true or false, boolean type. Suppose we have some cities. Cities means where it is shipped, cities, and cities can be again array. That means we can have Delhi, we can have Hyderabad, that is cities. Now in this we can have another, that is rating. So every product may have a rating. This rating is again an object. That rating is again an object. In that rating we can have a rate. Rate is some 4.5. We have count. Count is from how many people? 5,000 people rated it as 4.5. Right? That is how we can handle the data, the complex data. That means you can have an array inside it, you can have an object inside it. So this is JSON type data. JSON type data. Now this is stored in any reference. It is stored in a reference. And if you want to access this data, so data is accessed. Data is accessed with reference of data is accessed with reference of object name. That means actually this data will have an object name. Suppose what is the object name? Where TV is equal to this. That means all this information is stored in one reference. Later I will tell you how to read data from any JSON, right? As of now, how to access that? TV.name, it will get that name. This is actually getter. This we call as getter. Getter is nothing but it is used to read value. Read value present in that TV property. And very important, we have TV.name is equal to some, so Samsung LED TV, like this we define. Means what we are doing here, we are reassigning a value into it. This is called setter. That means we are store new value into it. Already there is some value, and to that we can store another value into it. What is the purpose of this object? The main purpose of this object is it enables reusability. It enables reusability. We can simply reuse the data without rewriting the data. The main purpose of object is enabling reusability and to keep all related data and logic together. Currently we have only data. Currently we are having only data. Let's see how to use it. Means how we can work with this data. Initially we will see a simple point. So we designed this and how to print. Suppose I want to print document.write. So shoe price, how to print shoe price? So we have to just use shoe.price. We need to access with reference of object. That means the object is this and the key is price. We can just access that and you can see it is going to display that value here. Yeah. It is going to display that value here. Shoe price is this. Suppose I want to change the price. Before printing, I am accessing shoe.price is equal to some 7,000. I am changing it. Then automatically you can see it changes the shoe price. That means we can store the value and we can redefine. We can create an object. We can reuse that object. Reusability and all we will see how we can reuse the object. Initially, the main purpose is to keep all related data and logic together. Currently, we are just having only data. We are just having data. Suppose I will copy this here. So how we can make it reusable? So let's see. I am creating a simple product. Product is an object. In this object, we have name, and the name is initially empty because we are expecting a string. We are defining price. So price is, this is 0. That means we are expecting a number. And stock is boolean. Boolean means it will be true or false. We are defining this. Now we want to handle these details. So what I am doing, just I am creating here a simple, dynamically we need to accept the details. So I will create here. So product dot name is equal to prompt. So I will use prompt and I say enter name. Whatever name entered, it will be stored in this reference. Similarly, we have product dot price is equal to, whatever you enter in prompt is a string, we have to convert into number. Then we learned already parse int, or we use parse float because decimals are accepted here. Which one? Prompt. So enter price. Otherwise, it is also treated as a string. Then we have product dot stock. Stock is defined as true. Here you entered true or false. You take prompt. So enter stock. It is also treated as string only. Whatever you enter through prompt, it is treated as string. Then how do we convert this into number? How do we convert this into boolean? There is no logic for converting into boolean. That means there is no parsing method. Then how do we do is, we write logic like this. Actually, we use a ternary operation. Ternary operation like this. We write like this. That means if it is equal to true, then question mark. That means we will put question mark true, otherwise false. That means if the value entered in the prompt is true string, if it is true string, then we will convert that into true. This question mark indicates if condition true, what should happen. This colon indicates if the condition false, what should happen. That means this is the condition. If condition true, question mark. If condition false, colon. That means if it is true string type, then store it as true boolean type. Otherwise, store it as true false boolean type. Otherwise, it will be treated as string only. Then you cannot use for boolean operations later. For example, now we collected all the details, then we need to print. How do we print? Document dot write. Here I am printing the name. I will use backtick name. Name comes from product dot name. This is getter. In the next line, we want price. It will come from product dot price. In the next line, we have stock. Stock will come from product dot stock. We have to use product dot stock. We have to configure in this way. That is how we need to define. Now let's run this and see, and it will ask here enter name. I entered some name, and after that I have to enter the price. So we have to, it is using product prompt, right? Here also prompt. Okay, fine. Now we are accessing the details here. Yeah. So name, that is Nike Casuals. Okay. Next price. Price, I will define some price. Okay. Next stock I mentioned as true. Then those details will come here. I mean, how you want to display the details. Now you can reuse this object. That means we can reuse the object with different details. Right? We can reuse the object with different details. We will put a form and we will design later. Right? Initially, first we need to understand how we can define an object. How do we configure an object with some data? Here we are having an object with some data. So now the point is, here we can reuse this every time it works with different data. We entered some price and we entered some stock, and it will get that and display. How to handle this with some complex operation, we will see. First we need to understand what is an object, how we can read data from object, and how do we store data into object. That is the basic thing first you have to learn. This is the first basic thing, how to create an object, how do we store data into object, how do we access data from object and use it. And object contains the keys and values. Now, now we will see one point here. Suppose we are having some details like this. Suppose we are having some details. That means I am creating here, I am defining like this. I am defining like this. So this indicates array. That indicates array. I am configuring a curly brace. This indicates object. Now I am writing in an array and like this, and this is an array of objects. This is an array of objects. This is how actually the real-time data is provided to you. This is how the real-time data is provided. Actually, sometimes data will come as object. Sometimes data will come as array of objects. If there are many, then it is array of objects. If there is only one, then it will return object. Only one detail means it is having object. Many details means array of objects. For example, see, suppose you have a table, database table. Suppose we have name and we have age like this. Name and age are there. So two details are present. So name is some name and age is some age. So name is some name and age is some age. Now we want to access this and we want to display. How this is represented in JavaScript. That means how JavaScript can accept and use it. That means it is converted. It is converted into which form? JSON. When it is converted into JSON, then how it is actually converted is, that is converted into an array. This array contains two objects. One object is related to John. That means it contains name is a field. What is the name? John. And it contains age. So age is another field. What it is? 33. How about second person details? We will have another object. We have another object. That means we have like this. Now what is the name? Here we have the name, and the name is some David. It is a string type. We have like this. And what is the age? And we have the age as 22. This is how the data is presented. That is how the data is presented. That means whatever data you have, that data is presented in this format. It is designed in. That means this is the first person details, right? And this is the second person details. That means it is an array of objects. Now this type of data will come to us. We need to present this data. Anywhere in software technology, the front end have to accept the data in JSON. Later I will tell you another format, how we can use an XML format also. XML format, how to use that. But the majority JavaScript based applications, data will come in the format of JSON. Now we will see how we can present this data. Means how to handle this kind of data. Let's see one example how we can handle this kind of data. So we will go and design This is very complicated. So I will just give here array of objects. Okay. I will first show you some real-time data so that you can understand. For example, suppose we are working for any college or school. For them, we have to develop a website. And for every subject, different pages we are designing. That means mathematics, some pages for that, so that teachers can ask the students to visit that website and watch the information there. So suppose some science teacher is trying to teach something about space, and they want to show some pictures related to space. On Google, when you search for such photos on space, those are all fake photos. They are not original. They are all fake photos. Then how they can show some real photos of space so that they can correctly educate people? Real photos means either NASA have to provide us or ISRO have to provide us, right? So they provide us. They have data for public. They have data for public. You don't know, that is. That means actually NASA and ISRO like people, ISRO don't have their open data. They all keep all private. NASA have public open data. That means to educate the world about space, NASA have made some of their data open that anybody can watch. But data is given to developers, not to common people. That means software developers can access NASA server, and they can access the limited data that they give. And through that data, they can design interfaces and educate people with the interface. So you have a website related to space and you want some photos for space, NASA will help you. NASA will help you. For example, you see, this is official website of API, NASA. GOV. This is official API, NASA APIs. NASA APIs. This is an official NASA API site. You can go to browse APIs. Browse APIs. They will show you so many data. You see astronomy picture of the day. You have so much. You can see so much. Mars rover photos. NASA image and video library. Satellite center. And you see Mars rover photos. Here Mars rover photos. You see they have the photos. Links are there. Now I click on this photo, curiosity photo. These are the photos. I click on any photo. You can see they return the data in this form. This form. Now what a general person can understand? Nothing. Zero. Then for whom these are designed? These are designed for developers. So now you know what it is. You just learned what it is. So what it is returning? It is returning an object. That object have a property called photos. It is of what type? Array type. In that array, again, there is an object. And see, every object contains so much details. You can see every object contains this much details. This is related to one object. That means very complicated. This object have ID, sol, camera. Camera is again object. Object in object. Just like I showed you here. Object in object means I showed you like here you see. I told you rating, rating. This is object, and inside object again object. That means now how do I access the count? How do we access the count? TV dot rating dot count, because rating is again an object. In that object we have to access this. Now this is the data. You can see that is the data. That is how they provide the data. Now developers responsibility is to consume this and present in a clean way for general people. This is what actually 99% your interviews will be. That means when you go to full stack developer interviews, once you are qualified with your first round of tests, the second round will be practical. In that practical, this is the job given to you. What they say that they will give you some screen designs and they say that design them with functionality design. Then you will ask like, it requires some data. Where is data? They will say that that is in our API, use that API. That means you have to get the data from the API given by them and you have to design the functionality asked. Out of 199.9 practical tests in companies will be this. Everywhere. If you cannot do this, you cannot present this, then you cannot crack any interview. Practically. Even for Java, .NET people also, they give this kind of jobs work on. Even for React, Angular like people also, they give the same work. Only the point is in front end, they use Angular and React. You have to use JavaScript and jQuery. Right? That is what you have to do. So you have to know how to access the data and present. How to access this data and present. So I will show you so many APIs how we can do that. But initially, let's see. Suppose I am designing a page. Let's see the simple point here. Means how we can handle. So presenting JSON. Actually, here we will put a button. Okay. And load data. And below this, I will keep a table. Let me link some bootstrap. Style sheet href is node modules and bootstrap dist css bootstrap.css. And here you see I am giving some class container. Yeah. Fluid. And here we have a table with class table and table hover something. Yeah. Now what I will do here, I will keep option as product details. Okay. And see, I'm writing a script and in the script we have some data. Data is an array of objects. And every object contains name, some name. Okay, every object contains price. Let's see simple data first. Later we will go with complex, right? Next I have name. This is suppose Nike casuals. And we have price. Okay. Like this we have some data. So we are having some data and displaying. Suppose we say some Lee boot. And so price is equal to some price. This is some data. I want this data to be displayed in a table. So table have t-head and th. It have two details. One is name, another one is price. Two details are there. Now I want to add that into t-body, table body. Right now on button click it should happen. Then here we will write on click is equal to load click. Let's write a function here. So the function load click. On load click we need to access this data. On load click we need to access the data and use it. And here what I am doing is to read all the data from an array. We have for var item of I, or I will use for var product of data, or I will reasonably give as products. Okay. That means read every product from products. We are reading every product from products. Now, what is the type of this product? We are reading every product from products. And what is the type of the product? Every element in array is an object. Every element in array is an object. That means this product is what type object? That means it is an object type. It contains name and price. Now what we have to do is, for every product, we have to generate a row. So how to create a row? tr document dot create element tr. Okay. In a row, name is in one cell and price is in another cell. So how many cells we have to create? 2 cells. td for name, document dot create element. This is td, right? Another is td price, document dot create element. This is also td. 2 cells are created. What should display in first cell? td name dot inner html. It should display product dot name. That means this product have 2 properties, name and price. Name will be stored here. What about td price dot inner html? That is product dot price. Okay, cells are ready. Now these 2 cells must be added into row. That means tr dot append child. First, which one? td name. After that, tr dot append child. Second, which one? td price. Order is also important. Right now, this row must be added into table body. That means document dot query selector. What is it? T body. Into the table body append child. I need to add the row. That means we have to create a row. We have to create cells. We have to add data into cells. Add cells into row. Add row into table body. Now you see here, I click on that button. I click on that load data button. Then it loads the data. That means accessing data from a JSON and loading the data into this. Later we will see how we can get that from NASA API and others. Here we just created some hard-coded data. So we are just creating some hard-coded data and displaying. For example, see here, suppose I am creating here, suppose some winter jacket and it is having some price. And here every object have a photo. Photo is having like public / assets / jacket dot jpg. Right? So we have this jacket dot jpg, that is the path. Similarly, we have another photo. So that is public / assets / some shoe dot jpg. We have another photo. So that is / public / assets / shoe one dot jpg. Like this we have. Now I want to add this photo in a cell. That means we need to create one more cell where td photo, and photo contains document dot create element. This is also a cell. We are creating a cell. In the cell, not inner HTML. In the cell, we need an image. Actually, there is a lengthy process. What you can do? First, you can create an image. After creating image, add that image to that cell. Or I told you markup. Na? That means what you can do, td photo dot inner HTML. In that, we will put a binding expression. In this, what we do, we need to generate an image. What should be image source? Image source is nothing but product dot photo. Width is equal to some 100. and height is equal to 100. Like this we define. After this photo must be added. This TD photo must be added to the row. That means tr dot append child. Append child. Which one to add? TD photo. This we have to add. Now it is ready. Now you can see here load data. It will get that and display. We are dynamically creating that. Actually, there is another important technique. So instead of this, we don't do like this. What we do is, after creating photo, then what we have to do is we have to create an image. Document dot create element. Create element. What is it? IMG. How to define properties here? Image dot src is equal to product dot what? Photo. And image dot width is equal to some 50 pixel. And image dot height is also 50 pixel. Now this image must be added into this photo cell. That means what we have to do? TD photo dot append child. Into that we have to add an image. Previously what we are doing, we are displaying in inner HTML. But now we are creating an image, adding that image to that photo. Right? Now you can see here the same, but this time load data, it will work same. But this time we are creating an image separately and we are adding it. This is how we need to generate. That means in interviews, when you go, they give you data like this. Very complex data. I will show you that NASA APIs, how they will use. Now they ask you to present like a table. They ask you to present like a card. That means not like table. I want to create a card dynamically. We need to generate a card dynamically and display. That means we need to know how to present in various ways. Now, if you ask, this is very lengthy, is there any other shortcut for this? This is the best possible shortcut for this. Any another shortcut means jQuery. You have to go with jQuery. jQuery, Angular, React, they provide simple techniques. But even you learn jQuery, Angular, React and put in resume, your test will be on JavaScript only. That means in every interview, they will say that show this in JavaScript only. Because jQuery will provide simple techniques, but JavaScript will make them understand how much you are strong logically. Because they give complex logic presentations. You have to design them. Right? For this, how to generate a table dynamically, how we can add data into table. The main concept here is how we can present the data, how we can configure the data, and how we can present the data. Data is configured in which form? Object. And how we can access the data and present the data here. Right? This is the presentation. I will give one example. Presenting a table. How we can present a table. That is how we can present a table. This is our own data. We created our own data and we are presenting. Now we will see, instead of using our own data, we will see how we can access data from API. Right? That we will see how we can do that. Actually, this type of concepts people learn in jQuery level, but we can learn in JavaScript level itself. And if you learn at JavaScript level about API handling, that's great, good. That means in future, in advanced technologies, it will be very simple for you. That is the reason I will not wait until jQuery for APIs. We will work from the beginning itself. That means from the beginning of JavaScript itself, we will work with real-time data. That means how we can access data from API. Actually, for that, to access data from API, you need to understand the concept of JavaScript. We have a concept called promises. we call JavaScript promise. What is a promise? How this promise works? And by using the promise, how we can communicate with APIs. That is a very big concept that we'll see tomorrow, right? Today you have to try this. This looks easy but difficult. You have to try what I showed, creating data, presenting in table. It's not so easy. You need good practice, right? It may look easy, but it is very tough because later we will design more complex. Now, tomorrow I will show you how to work with data like NASA API. We will try to present their data in different ways. For that, we need to first learn how to consume data from API. What is a promise, how the promises are used and how they work. Tomorrow we'll continue, right?